Hey, Dove Gordon here, and welcome to class number 2. Class number 2, thank you for joining me. That's me, that's me, that's you. Good to have you here. Class number 2, we're going to talk about how to build a marketing and selling system, a marketing funnel, or just a plan that you can actually believe in. That's what we're going to talk about here. In class number 1, we talked about how so many experts, consultants, coaches, end up on the completely wrong path. They end up on the path of the charismatic guru, trying to succeed in a world where you really need a strong personality, trying to follow that advice. And you find this tension where everyone's telling you to do something, but you just don't really feel good about it. It doesn't feel right. And it also doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. You don't really understand why that actually should work. You do things from a hope that it'll work as opposed to belief or confidence that it'll work. And I showed you in class number 1 that there is a better way. There's the path of mastery. And that, in all likelihood, is the path that you should be on. It's the path that most of us should be on. In class number 1, I showed you that when you need to master something, that's not as simple as flipping a light switch, and marketing or selling your expertise is not as simple or as subtle as there's a subtlety, there's a nuance to it. And there are 3 levels that you need to master and understand. And level 1 is the underlying structure of the situation. Level 2 is a process to follow or a plan. And level 3 are the tools and the skills that you need to work that plan, to work that process. And what we're doing in class number 2 is we're going to look more deeply into level 1, the underlying structure, level 2, the process, and level 3, the tools and the skills that you need. And what I'm going to show you here is that whereas, let's say in medicine, the underlying structure of the situation is human biology, when it comes to creating a consistent flow of your ideal clients and the marketing and selling of that, the underlying structure is going to be human psychology. And very specifically, specific aspects of human psychology, 3 questions. Because really to go from a total stranger over here to where they want to pay you over here, your ideal client only needs to answer yes to themselves, to 3 questions that they're going to ask themselves. So I'm going to show you what those 3 questions are, and I'm going to show you how you put in place 2 pieces. This is how the process is a plan, 2 pieces to help them answer yes to the first question, 2 for the second question, and 2 for the third question. And then based on the details of the precise plan you're going to create, that will affect the tools and the skills you're going to need. Although there certainly are a number of skills that you're going to need regardless of how you're going to do that. So let me show you what those are. So what is the underlying structure? What are those 3 questions? Question number 1, it doesn't matter what tactic you're going to use. I mean, one of the biggest problems that we have today with the internet and technology is that there are so many tactics available, Facebook ads and LinkedIn ads and AdWords and SEO and blogging and tweeting and there's no end to it, including public speaking and so on. And for every one of those, there's a line around the block of method-specific experts, and everybody is telling you, you have got to be doing this or you're doomed, it'll never work. Well, it's nonsense. It's just not true. There are so many things that can work, and that's what I want you to realize. It's not about the tactic, it's about what you put inside. It's not about the color of the balloon that makes it fly or sink. It's about whether you fill it with hot air or with helium. So I'm going to show you how to do that with marketing. The first question your ideal client asks themselves is, should I pay attention? Is it interesting? It doesn't matter what tactic you use. In all cases, they come across your LinkedIn post or your AdWords ad or your Facebook ad, and they're wondering, should I pay attention? Is it interesting? If you're speaking at a conference, same question. It doesn't matter. Should I pay attention? Is it interesting? If their brain concludes, yes, that was interesting, then they have a second question, only if they conclude the first yes to the first question. And that is, okay, you got me interested, but can I trust you? Are you for real? And if your marketing and selling system causes them to conclude, yes, I can trust you for real, then they have a third question, which is what you recommend right for me? Is what you recommend right for me? So these are the underlying questions. Does it make sense, right? No matter what system or method you're going to use, they're going to ask, should I pay attention? Is it interesting? Okay, you got me interested. Can I trust you? Okay, is what you recommend right for me? So when you're building your marketing funnel, your marketing system, to create a consistent flow of ideal clients, you need a process, a plan, just like surgery has steps. You need a process, a plan where everything you're going to do is designed to help them answer yes to one of the things. Why is it that in surgery we're not going to be doing all kinds of wasteful activities that we hope are going to work? No, we're going to follow a proven step-by-step process that is designed to influence the underlying structure. Why should the work you do to get your expertise known be any different from the work of an expert surgeon? Why should your marketing work be different than the work you do as an expert consultant, as an expert coach. You're not out there doing things you hope are going to work. You know that what you're doing is going to work. The way you work and approach your marketing has to be the exact same, kind of rigor and discipline and system and structure. And now when you understand what I'm about to share with you, you'll understand how to do that, because on some level, that's what's been missing, and that's why you haven't yet had a plan that you actually believe in. So let's look more deeply at the 6 pieces of a marketing and selling system that you can actually believe in. Piece number 1, okay? Piece number 1 is what we call marketing helium. Remember that analogy I said that it doesn't matter what the color of the balloon, what matters is what you put inside. And that's true. Any of these tactics could work and any of them can fail. And the question is, what are you going to put inside? Well, the answer is you got to fill them with marketing helium. What is marketing helium? Well, it's this. There are only 2 things that your ideal client is interested in. Okay, there are a lot of things that will get their attention. Only 2 things will get them interested. Attention, a loud noise, funny joke, then they'll go back to what they're doing. Interest, loud, I see it's something interesting, I'll change my plans. And that's what you need. You need to get them interested, because they were heading this way. They weren't looking for you necessarily. They come across your message and now they click through. They sign up. They want to be there. They want to work with you. That's your goal. So marketing helium has to be deep insight into your ideal client, because you need to be talking about one of the only 2 things that they're actually interested in. You need to talk about a problem they have and don't want, and or about a result they want and don't have. Now this has turned on the light for tens of thousands of people, and I'm going to explain it with a couple of examples in a minute. You have got to talk about the only 2 things that they're interested in. And if you look around, first of all, you probably have not been doing that properly. If you think you've been doing it but not getting the result, then you've not been doing it. It's a subtle, nuanced skill over here. This is not as easy, as like, hey, just post on Facebook, right? There's a nuance here. So if you think you're doing it but not getting the result, you're missing something. So keep paying attention here. But you've got to be talking about a problem they have and don't want, and or a result they want and don't have. And then that's your marketing helium. When you infuse your tactics with a problem they have and don't want, result they want and don't have, you get their attention and interest. Once you have that deep insight, you need piece number 2. Piece number 2 is a simple, compelling, head-turning message. Now, when you've crafted a simple, compelling, head-turning message that is rooted in a problem they have and don't want, a result they want and don't have, then what happens is that they're chasing you rather than ignoring you. That's the difference. If you're full of hot air, talking all about things they don't care about, anything but the 2 things, they don't care. They won't even notice you. So the question is, I want to give you some examples. These are all real-world, simple, compelling messages that I've created for clients after we understood the marketing helium. So one client had been the head of marketing at a $1 billion construction firm. She led a team of 49, 50 people, went out on her own as a leadership consultant. She was getting nowhere telling people I'm a leadership consultant. We helped her craft a simple, compelling message where now she was saying, I help you solve those problems you have from that employee who's too valuable to fire. Can you sense the difference? Can you feel the difference? I bet you could. Now, what about, there are a lot of coaches out there. Many life coaches, the problem is nobody cares. Nobody wants a life coach. It's just not something anybody wants. What if you wanted to work with parents? What if you wanted to work with parents of teens because you have a particular skill set with that? And you're talking about being a life coach and nobody cares, no one's interested. Well, what if instead you had a simple, compelling message based on a problem they have and a result they haven't, or a problem they have and don't want, result they want and don't have. And you talked about, I help you I help you calmly take control after your teen drops a bombshell. What do? I help parents calmly take control after a teen drops a bombshell. We do that through coaching and so on. Really? That's interesting. Tell me more. All right. Another example, somebody who works as a coach with people who want to quit their job and start their own business. So it's going to be tough to stand out if you talk about yourself as an entrepreneurship coach. But what if instead you say this? Another great one we came up with for a client, where you say, I teach people how to tell your husband you want to quit your 6-figure job and start your own business. You get the idea, right? How to tell your husband you want to quit your 6-figure job and start your own business. That is a simple, compelling message. You can build a business on that. Another one, I think this is the last one, we may have one more. I teach real estate investing. So what? So do all these scumbags on TV, right? Well, what if instead you're much more focused and talking about the problem they have and the result they want to have more directly, and you talk about 7 steps to absolute deal control, how to find, lock in, and profit from deals in your own backyard. These are some examples of simple, compelling message. These really, really matter, and you need to learn how to do this, and you need to have this built as well. You can build a business on this. When you've got pieces number 1, in marketing helium, piece number 2, a simple, compelling message in place, your ideal client who comes across your message and they ask themselves, should I pay attention? Is it interesting? In a flash of a second, instant, should I pay attention? Is it interesting? Their brain goes, oh yeah. I mean, this guy's different. You're reading my mind, right? You want to stand out? You do it this way, you stand out. So instantly they have question number 2. They have a second question, which is, okay, you got me interested, but who are you? Can I trust you? Are you for real? Question number 2. So question number 2, we need pieces 3 and 4 to help them conclude that, yes, I can trust you. Yes, you're for real. What does that look like? Well, let's get right into it. Piece number 3 is what we call the hand-raising free offer, or lead magnet, as many call it. I like to focus on what something's actually meant to achieve, so we call it the hand-raising free offer. Now, the purpose of your hand-raising free offer, which is something free, whether it's a webinar, training, or a class or a video like this, then the idea is that you want to help them begin to solve their problem, help them begin to get the result that they want in a way that helps them conclude that, yes, you do know your stuff. Yes, you do know your stuff. Now, there are 3 objectives that you really need to help to achieve in your hand-raising free offer, and we work with that in the 100-day sprint. I don't have time to go into it right now, but there's a reason why so many people are getting this wrong. It's key that you're able to take your ideas, your experiences, and communicate them and translate them to your potential clients through your hand-raising free offers in such a way that leads them to conclude, this is different. You get it. You're not talking about this the way everybody talks about it. You're not talking about leadership consulting. You're talking about more than that. You get it. They can tell just by the way you're presenting your ideas. So it's that simple, compelling message. You expand upon it in your lead magnet, your hand-raising free offer in such a way that leads them to conclude, yeah, I can trust you. You get it. And you also seem to care. You're not just looking to make a sale. That's piece number 3. Once you have piece number 3 in place, now you want to get the hand-raising free offer in front of your ideal client so they can take an action, raise their hand, and say, hey, I want it. I want it. They can opt in for it. They can walk into your store. They can pick up the phone and call you, whatever it might be. And for that, you need a simple get noticed sequence. All right? These are the things that you're going to do tactically in order to give your ideal clients the chance to request your hand-raising free offer. I want you to notice a tremendous mistake people make, and that is that most people skip straight to step number 4. They skip straight to step number 4 because it's all about the tactics. But they never do the hard foundation work, building out, getting a deep insight into the marketing helium, the problem, the result, crafting that simple, compelling message, creating a HARFO, a hand-raising free offer that really makes you stand out by the way your ideas are expressed. And they go straight to piece number 4, and they're out there doing, and they're making a whole lot of noise and blowing a lot of hot air in LinkedIn groups and Facebook and who knows what else. And that's why their ideal clients poke around and say, hey, is what you're talking about interesting? No. And they never even get that far. So that's piece number 3 and piece number 4. Again, piece number 3 is your hand-raising free offer, your lead magnet. Piece number 4 is your get noticed sequence. And when you're getting in front of your ideal client, giving them the chance to raise their hand and request that HARFO, which is well created, and they go through it, then their brain goes, should I pay attention? Is it interesting? Yes. Okay, you got me interested. Can I trust you? Well, you're quite different from everybody else. This makes sense. I've never heard someone present it this way. Yes, I can trust you. Now, what do you recommend? And is what you recommend right for me? Is what you recommend right for me? That, again, is question number 3. How are you going to answer, help them conclude, yes, what you recommend is right for me? There are 2 pieces here as well. Piece number 5 is what we call the elegant sales conversation. And we teach you how to elegantly control your next sales conversation. Something that few people really understand is that sales is not getting somebody to do something they don't want to do. It is not getting somebody to buy from you because you have a quota or because you want them to buy. Sales is leadership. Few people understand this. Many people avoid sales because they think it's something that it isn't. They don't understand it. They think it's convincing or persuading or getting. That's not what it is. Sales is leadership. And the only reason you feel that way about sales is because you're winging it. You don't have a deep understanding of how the sales conversation actually works. You don't have a deep understanding of what the underlying structure of the sales conversation is and how to lead somebody through it. Leaders don't wing it. If you're winging your sales conversation, then the people you want as clients are not going to want to follow you. So that's why we teach how to elegantly control your next sales conversation. Piece number 6 is after, at the end, once they feel, wow, yeah, you really understand me, what do you recommend, and is what you recommend right for me, then you've got to be ready with your easy yes offer, where it's easier for your ideal clients to answer, yeah, that makes sense, that's good, I can really see how that's going to work for me, how that's going to change everything. The easy yes offer, where essentially what you're doing is you're making it easier for them to say yes than to say no. And there's an art and a science to that, and that's the final piece of the marketing and selling system. Again, so we have the underlying structure that you're working with. That's the question in the mind of your ideal client. I mean, you cannot, it's unalterable. Either you're going to work with it or you're breaking yourself against it. If you have not been able to create a consistent flow of ideal clients, then you're breaking yourself against it. To work with it, you build a process that, these 6 steps, that's the process. And that is the second part of all this. And then once you build out your process and you decide the decision you need to make and build out the pieces in each of these, then you'll know what tools you need and what skills you need to learn to use those tools to follow this process, this plan, a plan you can actually believe in, because you see how it's built on the underlying structure, the psychology, timeless human psychology that easily leads people to want to pay you, want to work with you, because you stand out, because you make sense. And as you can see here, this is something we work with people hands-on in our Plenty of Clients 100-day sprint. Now, in all likelihood, this little class has given you a light bulb moment. I'm sure something has turned on. Having said that, you can probably now take some of these ideas and take some steps forward and start to build something in a way that maybe previously wasn't clear to you. However, I want you to be well aware that in all likelihood, you're going to hit a wall. You're going to hit a wall. I know you're going to hit a wall because we all do. You're going to make some progress, you're going to hit a wall. What do? Well, what happens when you hit the wall is that you suddenly find yourself victim, caught in the claws of what we call the 3 doubts. And the 3 doubts are, I was making some progress, but I hit a wall. Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing it right? Why isn't this working for me? Or will this ever work? And because, if you've experienced that in the past, because of that, I want you to now go and watch class number 3. Class number 3, I'm going to walk you through the only way that I've figured out to break through and kind of get beyond the 3 doubts and really create a consistent flow of your ideal client. So go to class number 3. I'll see you there.